What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Dan here again. Welcome to another DanQ review. Today we are going to discuss SSX, the reboot of one of my favorite franchises of all time. Basically what it used to stand for, okay, actually I won't get into that just yet, but what it was, the whole series stood for Snowboard Supercross. Basically over-the-top snowboarding tricks that are completely unrealistic, very arcadey, but unrealistic to the point that they're super fun. Like, honestly, there's no other word to put SSX series than fun. But first, we'll get into our summary. SSX is available on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. I don't know if they're releasing it on the Wii. I doubt it. But anyway, it is, I guess, a sports game. That's the best way to put it. Action sports or whatever. Whatever. It's developed by EA Canada and I believe published by EA Sports, or just, yeah. Developed by EA Canada and published by EA Sports. That's it. Okay. Now, what can I say about SSX? Well, SSX, like I said, is one of my favorite franchises. And upon playing this demo, I was hooked like that, you guys. I've never gone back and played the demo multiple times. The gameplay of this game is that good. Now, let's start off as an intro. Well, let's get it from the beginning here. What does the graphical design look like? Pretty good. I'd like to say the graphics are nice. They have detail, but it's meant to be an arcadey style game, so they're not like super realistic, obviously. But the graphics do look good. They look solid, so there's no complaints there. I would like to throw this in right now. Actually, yes, right now I would like to throw it in. Soundtrack, phenomenal. A great soundtrack. Everything suits the whole snowboarding theme. For sure. Honest to God, like especially the SSX theme, definitely a great soundtrack for SSX. Okay, so let's talk about the gameplay. How does the gameplay feel? Well, if you grew up playing SSX like I did, you played all the other SSX games, this game's going to feel a little different to you, because they changed the controls up. However, that doesn't change you can go back to classic controls if you want, like where you use the D-pad to spin, and the triggers and all the buttons up there are your grabs. Well, this one you could use your toggle to do your spinning. D-pad doesn't really do anything. All the buttons are different grabs. The triggers are tweaks. And you can also use the right thumbstick to do your grabs as well, whatever you're more comfortable with. To be honest, the new controls are a lot easier to go big. Like, honestly, I could feel like a little more, like back then when I was a kid, at first, the SSX controls felt weird at first, but once you got good, you were able to really solidify them. And if they have the same controls now, I'd probably say that the controls are bad for new people, because they are tough to get into, but that's how games were back then. But the controls are really simple. I really liked them. I could combo like ridiculous amounts. I got really good at it. I can combo like crazy. I mean, obviously people are always going to be better than me at it, but it's a game that I was actually pretty damn good at in terms of combos. I can make a huge combo, tricky tricks up the wazoo. It was insane. So in terms of controls, I'd say it was an improvement, a huge improvement on what it was been. However, you are given the option to go to classic controls if that's what you prefer. So I think that's a cool thing for those people who don't want, I don't want to change it. Well, you don't have to. You can go back to the classic controls if you really want to. Okay, I'm going to put this out there now too. There's a shit ton to do in this game. I mean, there's lots to do in SSX. You have the World Tour mode, which is essentially the story mode of the game, where basically you tackle 9 deadly descents. That was what the game was originally going to be called, SSX Deadly Descents. However, what happened was, they decided to drop that name and go classic, you know what I mean? But the deadly descents are still in it, and what that is you go to different mountains across the globe, and you do a select number of races or trick modes, because there's race it and trick it, basically where you race and then you do tricks, a high score, you know what I mean? You do a few of those, you move to a different mountain, because there's like usually 3 mountains, 3 stages if you will, with a race, a trick it, a couple races and trickets, and then you get to the final mountain where you have to do a deadly descent. And a deadly descent could be anything, like things that are basically that are natural formations or whatever that make it difficult. On the hill, for example, the very first one was trees. Tons of trees. You had to avoid them and you'd take damage. Another one, for example, was ice. There's tons of ice and you had to use ice picks to keep your grip on. You had to make it down to the bottom where you just survive these deadly descents. That was the idea, to survive them. And then there was darkness. You had to use a headlamp. You could barely see what you were going. There were big drops, chasms that you would just get you'd have to restart if you fell in, that sort of thing. Avalanches, tons of stuff, like blizzards, you name it, super cold, everything. There's 9 different deadly descents like that, in that manner. Rocks, I could go on forever. Different hazards, that's the best way to put it. Hazards that you have to survive going down the mountain. That was a really cool idea. Nice little story mode. There's also Explore mode, which to me is like classic mode, which is, you go to, there's way more runs in it than the World Tour mode. There's way more race it's, trick it's, more survive modes in each mountain. And each one you have to get a gold, silver, or bronze in, just like the classic SSX gameplay. So you have that as well. Explore mode is good for, it increases the longevity of this game. And also you have something called global events, which is like, it's kind of weird. You have to basically, you choose a trick event, any sort of event really, they're customizable by human players. And you can go on there and change up anything you want. You can make it like, say for example, there's a stage that requires you to use a wingsuit, meaning the gaps are so huge that if you do regular jumps, you're probably going to fall to your death. However, some people can make it so that to increase the challenge, no wingsuits allowed, that sort of thing. You could do that, but what you would do is do your best, get your best score, your best time, whatever the case is, and you could walk away from it. Meanwhile, there's a timer on that event, and once the timer reaches 0, you'll get points awarded on what bracket you place in. There's different brackets. There's diamond, platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. And depending where you place, the more points you'll get, or the more spending points, I can't remember what they call them, for your SSX character, or buying boards, buying levels, that sort of thing. You can always do that, and when the time limit runs out, depending what bracket you're in, if someone beats you, they can bump you down a bracket, or you can beat someone and take their spot in the bracket and you get more points. So it's really cool. I mean, I don't think there's actual live players. I'm pretty sure you're just playing against ghosts, which is something I want to mention. I went super hoser Canadian there. Mansion. We're going to mansion. Because we be going down to Beavers and get some goddamn, I don't know, we're going down there, okay? We're going down to do some snowboarding, okay? And we're going to do some of this classic gameplay, eh? You get what I'm saying? Because we going to do that, okay? So, yeah, I'm just going to be wearing my plaid shirts and, I don't know, be going hunting for some squirrels, that sort of thing. Anyway, I had to do that. I'm sorry. Anyway, so you have that ability, but like I said, the multiplayer could have been huge potential if you could actually play with live players. Like, you create a multiplayer mode where you and like however many other people race, trick simultaneously, like no ghost cam. This game would have been awesome if you had that. I mean, it says it's got multiplayer, but not really. It really doesn't. It says online multiplayer on the back, but it doesn't say how many players, you know what I mean? So it's different online multiplayer. You're basically setting a score, and different people are beating your score as they go, or vice versa, right? So no real multiplayer, which really kind of sucked. What else can we say here? There was a few more I wanted to say. I can't believe I can't really recall. I apologize, guys. I'm sorry. My mind's gone down the gutter. Okay. Let's get into something else here. Something that I might consider a negative. SSX, me being a fan of the franchise, I could jump in and know exactly what's going on, how to play the game, what the idea was, and it'd be awesome. I'd be fine with it, which I was. Certain people may not feel the same way. New people who are like, oh, this just looks like a stupid game. Well, you might think that. And when upon playing, you might be like, wow, this is hard. And you might find it difficult. So I'm going to say it's difficult for new players to the series, because it can be, to grasp what the whole concept of SSX is. And honestly, it is the fact that you're supposed to go ridiculous. Look at Mac. See? Look at him. He's got his foot off the damn board because they use step-ins. And I don't know, man. It's crazy tricks. Which I want to go back to another positive. Creativity in this game is ridiculous. They've expanded on the way the tricky tricks work. There's different levels of tricky now. You have the basic grabs with tweaks and whatnot. Then you have the regular tricky, where you just detach your legs from the board in different ways, and you could tweak them by like maybe spinning the board. So like, look, when you're spinning and flipping, it looks ridiculous. Then you get the regular uber tricky or whatever, where you do the ridiculous tricks we know and love, except you can tweak those as well and spin those as well. Plus, every single person has their own signature move. A lot of them I called out on because I remember them from the past games, which was really cool that they brought that back. And I also want to say I like that they brought back the classic characters and the classic, a few new additions, but a lot of the classic characters are in there, like Elise, Mac, Moby, Zoe, Simon. A lot of the originals are in there. Kaori, you know, all the people I knew in SSX, Tricky and whatnot, they're all in there, which is really awesome. So not a whole lot terrible I could say about this game. Everyone's like, wow, this game seems like a waste of money. Well, play it. You'll be like, no, this game is awesome. And in that retrospect, I'm going to give, well, I got to rate SSX, I think. Right now, I think I'm ready to rate it. I even said I was going to rate it before I even finished the modes. I'm going to give SSX an 8.75 out of 10. Phenomenal game. One of the best of the year, in my opinion, so far. If you love SSX, you're going to love this version. Trust me. Even if you don't compete in anything, you can just go down the different mountains and get your best score. Because this is the type of game that you'll keep retrying just to see the crazy tricks you can do. So, that's it for me. 8.75 for SSX. Great game. I recommend you take a look at it. Even if you're not sure, take a look at it and play it for a few hours. You're going to grow to love it. Trust me. So thanks everybody for watching this review. Hope it helped you make a decision. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and favorite if you prefer. If you like, it helps out a lot. So thanks everybody. I appreciate you watching. And I'll see you guys very soon.